great decisions, and it shows in his flight log. If you get a chance, look at it. Francois Pin, Foxtrot Papa. And what I have for him is a historical book about the World War II gliders, the training of the World War II glider pilots to fly the Gentle Giants.
Thank you. Well, left with everybody and went for Sherman Peak, but it was already a little bit washed out, so I figured the best thing to do was to cut across toward those little mounds there northwest of me, because the storm front was coming up, and I thought that was the safest place. There was field down there, and if the front was coming faster, then I could slide toward me and still be safe. So, but as it turned out, I timed it pretty well, climbed up. Unfortunately, by the time I was up, the entire northern sector was full of showers. So I kept going along the front toward the Salt River, and about mid-valley, there was a gap in the shower. There were two other gliders with me, I don't know who they were, but so I shot toward in between the showers toward the front that looked fairly juicy. And then there were those three little airports or strips there in the valley that were just behind that, so it was pretty safe. Even if it didn't work, then I could land there. The front was working very well, so just topped it up to the cloud base there, shot toward the Wind River, the Salt River, and then went along the ridge, of course, north. I was keeping an eye on the storm, because as often happens in mountain, when you have a storm front that comes like this and from flat terrain and reaches a peak or mountain range, the storm will intensify right there on the range. And of course, what happens is that the storm becomes a little bit self-feeding. And so not only you have the washout of the front behind that and downwind, but that self-feeding storm on top of the peak is enough to create an angle, which is then adding up to the washout. And in this case, that meant the entire southern valley was going to be washed out. So I kept an eye on this, and when I thought that it was just about time, I was maybe mid-lake there, maybe 10 miles north of Alpine. I just took a last cumulus northeast, actually over the range, which gave me a beautiful view of that Salt River and the Jackson Valley. They're very pretty. And then came back as fast as I could. I saw Papa 7, Tango Alpha, just going the other direction. I said, ooh, good luck.
That's what we were saying too.
Ooh. And then came back, picked up the front, and sure enough, the front was already starting to deteriorate, so I could bump little convective things on the edge of it until I passed the range, essentially the range that goes between Meade and Diamond.
Yeah.
And as soon as I passed this, then now I was on the good side of the storm, so I could pick up the convective sail and went up. And from there on, it was early enough that there was nothing in the Sherman Peak area, so it was just a long final glide all the way to Sedgwick, I guess, and picked up a last little thermal there, and kept going toward Elkhorn, and then it was blue. So I was about, I don't know, half an hour early on my time. So started, heading in the blue, and after 10 miles didn't hit anything. And John Cochran talked about the little evil thing here on his shoulder. And well, in my case, that was not evil, a good thing. It was my wife's voice. That morning, I told Dottie we were going to go and have a dinner in a nice restaurant for our 25th anniversary. And so she whispered in my ear and said, well, restaurant is nice, but what I want you to do today is shave, which I could do very easily, and then come home. And so 10 miles in the blue, I did 180 degrees and came home. And I was 15 minutes under time, but I think that was the right decision.
All right.
It's amazing. amazing what good crew could do for you. Also, I wanted to make a special